Hello, everybody. Groovyouverse coming to you here, and I just want to make sure that my mic is not over blaring anything here. All right, all right. So Groovyouverse coming to you here today, and this is blog number 7 for my 30 days of self-love. Now, I actually missed yesterday's blog, so this is like a 6 and 7. I was doing something yesterday that was going to help me with my workout, and when I found that, when I found what I needed and brought it home, and I was so tired. I really actually just fell on top of the bed and I went to sleep. I never woke up until the next day. So I'm sorry about that if you're following along. So what happened yesterday? I went for my walk and um, I had a couple. I had to read the affirmation. Or let me step back here. I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself. During my walk, I actually had the day 6 affirmation, which reads, put this here for you. I think big and then allow myself to accept even more food from life. Now, when I what I see in terms of like what is food for life, like I'm thinking in terms of not just eating right, but taking in everything that I can learn and even relearn. Um, I want to make myself more aware of the world without having the media stand in the way, of course. But I also want to teach myself something. I want to learn new things. And I think design and motion graphics is definitely a great way for me to expand my profession and to kind of give some background in terms of how I got here. I have not really been really good in high school. When I was in high school, I had like maybe C's, and I didn't have like all the prerequisites done in order for me to go to college. I didn't pay attention like that, and my test scores were also pretty bad too. Um, and I learned to work with computers on my own, and this is before even Google was around, and Yahoo is probably the main time, but you couldn't really run a search on Yahoo for fixing computers. There wasn't that many articles about that to begin with. And so I really pushed myself to learn more, to to really give myself a chance. Now, that transitioned to where I actually went to a college that's not even accredited. You may not even have heard of it, but it's Heald College. And it used to be in San Francisco and some other cities as well. But they were vocational, they were very accelerated curriculum. And when it came to doing that work, it clicked with me. I loved it because I was working with computers and they were trying to teach me the profession of the IT profession. And I thought, okay, this is it. This is what I need. But nobody wanted to take that degree because it wasn't really accredited. Um, it was just kind of showing that I went through all these courses um, and I made it, and using their curriculum, their specific curriculum, and I learned a lot of professionalism from that place. And the first place I actually started, is CompUSA, and I was fixing computers there, and I learned a lot from that place. I mean, there was people there that knew more than I did, and I was just kind of like mind blown, like the stuff that they go through to fix these computers. And I worked there for a couple years, got laid off, and then that's when I was unemployed for a while, and that was pretty tough. And then I went to Academy of Art University, and I believe I might have told this story already, but it's a good refresher in terms of where I'm getting at. And when working at Academy of Art, that's where I actually started learning some more in terms of what design is all about. I mean, I was doing more of the support role, helping not customers but students to help them with their work, and or when I say help them with their work, like help them troubleshoot the web interface. And I did the best I could, and therefore it actually paid off. I got promoted to supervisor, then I got promoted, level 2 first, and then supervisor because I really cared and to help these students out. But at the same time, I was able to enroll and take a course in like 3D animations like that, and web design as well. But I didn't really finish anything. I barely even finished 3 courses, and there's a lot of work. It's going to take you a long time to complete it during the time working there. Um, that's when I decided, after 6 years working there, I decided to move forward, and that's when I found OpenDNS, and I continued the support role. But then from there, I was able to hone in more on my skills in talking to people, and then they realized it, and they put me in a position where I was actually talking with people and teaching them things, and it just grew from there to where I am today, which is, I work in motion graphics, and um, it was a long journey, and I'll probably say that's probably the biggest food that could ever be served for my life. Um, you know, I actually had to step back the other day, and today when I thought about this affirmation, and um, it just kind of made me see, like, wow, like, how far I've come. I felt like it was just yesterday that I was at Academy of Art, and um, it was just kind of mind blowing a little bit. So that's what I feel. What food for life, or food from life. Like the experiences that that I've taken and apply them to my life, and how I communicate with other people, and I really just enjoy educating people, because I feel that with me absorbing this food for life, that I can also provide the same nourishments to people who want to learn, and not just computers. Um, Anything that I can think of that I'm able to support, for example, tarot, or motion graphics, Adobe. Like, if I can teach people, and maybe that's something I could probably do afterwards, and I could teach people things that I do. I mean, there's always going to be somebody else who's better than me. I'll I'll totally do it, and I always say to some tarot readers too that well, it kind of doesn't really apply to the motion graphics world, but what I usually say is that we all start from somewhere, and that does apply to everything though. But we all start from somewhere, but being as a tarot reader, if you only had like 1 year experience, that doesn't make you any worse or better or worse than a person who's done 10 years of experience with tarot. So, and that's what I'm getting with that in terms of the skills that I just started with when it came to motion graphics. And I always tell myself, we have to start from somewhere. We always have to start from somewhere. Um, and we all get put down by ourselves to where we want to try it, but then once we make the first mistake, we get embarrassed and then we decide not to do it again. Regardless of people wanting you to continue it, you know, that's one of the demons that we face about ourselves. And that's what they always say: we are our own worst critic. We beat ourselves up on these things. So getting ourselves out of that rut and just continue trying. If it doesn't look good the first time, then let's try it a second time, and then a third time, and the fourth time, and just repetitively do it. And I just, it just makes me think about, all this time, learning certain things, especially tarot. Like, I had to practice learning my intuition, for the whole year. I got myself crystals, different decks and stuff like that, but it's not just about the amount of crystals and decks that you have. It's really about your heart and how you feel. I mean, people say, "Oh, the third eye and everything," and open your mind, and obviously that's part of it. But the biggest part of it all, the largest part of it all, would be your heart and how much you love doing this. And some people say, "Oh, you either have it or you don't," which I personally don't believe. I believe we all have a sense of intuition. It's just been buried and we don't use it. And if you wholeheartedly believe in it and just trust yourself that you can do this, at that point, you're just feeding yourself positive food for your life to make yourself better. And that's one skill, maybe not be able to take this professionally, but it's a skill that you're learning and you're able to make yourself happier at the same time. And that's what I'm discovering as much as I can what I can do within this 30 days that will either enhance what I know or give me something new to learn. And I always take suggestions from people, and I try to take it with a grain of salt because it comes overwhelmingly to me where they're like, "Oh, you should try this, you should try this, you should try this," and I'm like, "Okay, let me just jot this down for a second." So there's that. Now, the other thing the other affirmation is, I think big, and then allow myself to accept even more food from life. That's not the one. It's this one right here. So it says, "I live in abundance. I have a lot of energy to realize what I want. I have enough." And this was actually something that I had to deal with on the 6th. And I was really wanting to push myself, to work out, and I started doing weights and stuff like that. And I was working out my arms, my chest, my triceps, and I was doing my shoulders. But then I kind of ran out of energy because I actually had some pretty heavy weights. And I'm feeling the burn right now. Like, I'm feeling the soreness, which is really good actually. I've done this before, and it just occurred to me, like, well, what if I, instead of buying dumbbells, like single ones, because I was thinking maybe I can just build it. Once I'm done with these weights, I can move up to the next one and then the next one, and then get everything I need. But as I started pricing things out, it just kind of like started growing as I calculated everything. And I said there has to be a better way, and it just kind of clicked on me. I was like, oh, well, why not just invest into a personal gym? So, I looked online, and obviously with the COVID thing going on, that's making all the sites no longer have them in stock. Like, I was about to get the Bowflex, their cheapest one, which is like $600, and it was all sold out on Amazon. So I was like, oh man, like, I was getting discouraged, but I was like, you know what? Let's just keep looking. So I started looking on Letgo, Craigslist, and that's where I found um, on Craigslist that this person was selling his Bowflex machine, and it was called the Bowflex Ultimate, and it's like a 7 or 8 year old machine. And at the time, as I researched it, it's almost $4,500, and he was selling it for 300. I was like, oh man. And I had to figure this out, where I'm going to get the money and things like that. And I also had to put in a plan on how to pick it up too, because the problem is that it was about a whole hour away from where I lived, and it wasn't actually a straight shot either. Because where I live in Stockton, I have to go like in the C formation, where I go across to the freeway, go down, and then back over again. And it took me a whole hour, but I don't even have a truck either, and so I had to go rent a truck from Home Depot. So as I started doing this, I, was kind of getting anxiety a little bit. I was getting nervous because I didn't know how I was going to or set up the machine into the truck without damaging it, stuff like that. And as I came to the house, this is actually kind of funny. Um, when I came to the house, he looked at me, and I had my mother in the passenger side because she just wanted to go. And he goes, "Did you bring her?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "You're here to help him?" And we both said yes. And his eyes just widened. He's like, "There is no way." I'm like, "Is it really that heavy?" And he's like, "Yes, it is." And so I said, "You know what? Let's make lemonades out of lemons." And he's like, "Oh, that actually sounds good." And so I backed the truck up, and there was a lot of parts, but the biggest one was the bigger unit with all the power rods that they call it. And um, I tried moving it, and I felt the weight, but luckily it had wheels, and he actually helped me lift it into the truck. But he said he had a bad back, so he couldn't do much of it. So I did most of the lifting actually, and this is a day after I did my upper body dumbbells on my arms. So you can imagine, like, I was going through this soreness with these dumbbells, and we pushed it into the truck, and everything was looking good, and paid the $300, and I was just so excited, and it's sitting in my garage right now, and I'm trying to clean it up. And then I had to return the truck, or return to my house to drop off the unit. Now this, I couldn't find any friends to help me, so I had to do this on my own. And I, inch by inch, I, had some type of a rug underneath it, so it kind of prevented it from slipping. And I was able to, get it to gradually come down to the ground, and then put it to my garage. It probably took me a good 25 minutes because I didn't want to hurt myself either. I was kind of scared. But I kept saying to myself, I just be smart about this. Don't try to be a hero and try to save the machine. If you're going to get hurt, just get out of the way. And so I was prepared. I was coming up with some backup plans and everything. And got the machine into the garage all by myself. And it just kind of, came to me as I was thinking about it in the truck, as I was returning it back to Home Depot to get my car and go back home, that I really did set my mind to this. I really wholeheartedly believe that the energies around me, the universe, is there to provide, and there's the laws of attraction too. I was determined, and I believed that I can actually do this. And I had the strength, the willpower, and the patience to keep this going. And it was a really awesome day, and now I'm on my way to becoming healthier, more fit, and it really does you know, it just makes me kind of sit here in awe because I know I'm thinking about it again. But, you know, I could have easily just kind of like, oh man, and try to look for somebody to help me and then maybe stress about it because time's running out. And I just stood there and I just kept my calm and my patience um and just really paid attention. Oh, I thought I heard my phone ringing. Sorry. But I really paid attention to everything that's around me, and I just soaked in the energy, and especially afterwards, where my body's kind of feeling sore from everything. You know, um, I didn't let that discourage me either. I sound like I'm hearing a vibration. It was my phone. It had an alarm. Anyhow, that's what this line really meant to me. That no, with the energy that I had, and it's not just brute strength that I needed, but it was also the energy towards the mind of keeping the cool, and especially when it comes to meditation. And when I pulled a card um, today for my meditation, I pulled the Tower card, and it just made me think that this is probably when my life is maybe going to start changing little by little. If I keep this up for the first 30 days, I just keep repeating it, and that's what's so exciting about this project. Um, and doing these video logs will help me realize that certain doors close and it can hurt you. It can hurt you, but you're still going to get up, move forward, and grow. I'm 40 years old, and I'm a kid at heart, but I still have a lot of life to live, and I want that life to be very meaningful and abundant of joy, connections. And I've done a lot of things in the past, which there'll be another day to talk about it, where I wasn't really happy about. Um, Nothing seriously bad, but it's a walk of life, and it's never too late to start somewhere. Because, like I said, we have to start somewhere, right? Maybe 40 years too late, or 40 years into my life here, and now I'm just now getting fit and healthy. Well, we got to start somewhere, and I've already had a good start. I mean, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I maybe have very lightly drink socially. Never done any drugs. I don't smoke. So um, that's sort of a good start right there. And I just have to build upon that with my diet that I'm doing right now. And this morning I actually did um, a protein shake, banana, coconut milk with chia seeds, hemp hearts, a vegan plant-based protein, and then I added an egg, a raw egg, along with some collagen powder, which I'll talk about in just a second, and some agave, like maybe like a less than a tablespoon, and maybe a small dash of salt, and blended it all up. And I didn't taste the egg, it was down the hatch, and it went really smoothly. And so I learned today, or actually it was yesterday, about the collagen powder that I mentioned that I bought from the store, and I found out that, or at least from dermatologists and doctors online, that the my mom in the kitchen there, um, there's, I mean, it's a protein, And so as you swallow and digest the collagen, it doesn't go to your bones or to your skin. It gets digested as a protein and turns into amino acids, and therefore giving you the energy that your body needs, to live. So it almost had no benefit internally, but you can make like a paste out of it to, or a toothpaste and whatnot. And I started researching, well, how can I get collagen into my body? That way I could take care of myself this way. And I started, it came to me where there's certain vitamins and types of foods, such as eggs, that gives you this benefit of collagen. And for those of you who are not sure what that is, collagen, it helps with your bones and it gives you, healthy hair. And at the same time, it kind of makes your skin a lot healthier too, especially as you get older, because as you get older, your skin tends to, get a little bit more loose, and that's the collagen within the skin that's not holding on within the cells. And maybe I'm not sure if I'm really explaining this right, but that's the collagen is what keeps the skin cells tight and together, right? That's why we're able to do this. So as you grow older, the collagen is not produced as much, and that's why our faces turn this way, and we look older. Um, so I'm looking into foods that will help me with that process, but not just the skin, but for everything else. And I may even turn to like a cold press system to do some juicing to give me those nutrients as well. And I've done that before, and it's a rough ride, but I can't do that though while doing the workout because that would just be going backwards at that point. Now, I was going to measure myself every week. I might measure myself every month, perhaps, but I'll do what I can to measure myself and see if there's any change. The scale actually said I dropped 2 pounds, which is really interesting, and my glucose actually has been the best in years with my diet that I've been doing, and I'm still doing salads and soups. For lunch, I'll do like a half sandwich and so forth, and so it's working out. Um, I wake up in the morning, my glucose is actually within that range, 90 and 130, and um, I would like to say that because of the way how I'm eating and the way how I'm controlling the glucose in my body, the diabetes, um, I do kind of feel a change. Um, there's definitely a lot more energy within me. Um, and it's just promoting me to continue this path. I'm super excited, and I want to keep building and building, 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 and share this journey with anybody who finds this. And at least, I can use this to help me look back at the years that I've done, and then take this and apply it to my future self. You know, to where I said, oh, why did I say that? That doesn't make any sense. Or, it'll probably like reaffirm something that I probably might have been, struggling on. So tomorrow's affirmation, which is Friday, um, is I'm the only one who can determine my self worth, and I am worthy of my dreams. It's a pretty big one. So I'll be able to meditate on that tomorrow. Um, Tomorrow I am going to be doing a live stream with the Indigo Mermaid TV, and we're going to be doing a collaboration with tarot cards and whatnot. And so that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be able to also update you on day 8 of uh, the 30 days of self-love. So for those of you who kind of jumped on and then jumped off, or still stuck with me, I'm only seeing one person, which is fine. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to what I have to say. I hope it encourages you, and I open my heart compassionately, and respectively to those who want to learn. And so, with that said, if you want to communicate with me, here's my email, tarot@groovedefy.com. It should be in the description. Um, or you can leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Let me know, what you are doing for yourself that might change yourself, or what you think I should do, and I'd love to talk about it. So, this is Anthony for Groovified, and that concludes my day 6 and 7 of the 30-day self love. Thank you very much. Namaste.